Zootopia 2 has come home to Disney Plus.
Let's go!
Get ready for a new case.
We're gonna crack this case and prove we're the greatest partners of all time!
New friends.
You are... Gary the Snake. And your last name? The Snake.
Dream team.
And new habitats.
Zootopia has a secret reptile population.
You can watch the record-breaking phenomenon at home.
You're clearly working it.
Zootopia 2, now available on Disney Plus, rated PG.
Welcome to Crime Besties. We're here for another week, another episode. How are you doing, Meg?
We're just, getting through.
Yeah. We're coming up for winter. Actually, this will come out and it'll already be winter.
I thought we've definitely hit winter like this. It's been much colder. It's been weird weather, but
very odd weather.
Yeah. Yeah. It's winter. I think I said it to my kids the other day in the car. We've hit winter. Here we are. We're there.
Yeah.
Although
everything feels dank.
Yeah.
Cold. Dark. It's dark
so dark.
early.
I know. We decided at work the other day, was saying because now it gets cold, it gets dark like at 5:30. Like our whole days should be shorter. Like our work day should be shrunk to fit. Because I need more daylight hours to do shit. Because once it's dark, I want to go to bed.
Oh, 100%. I've actually been going to bed so early this week.
Yeah.
I'm a shocker.
I can't. I mean, I don't want to go to bed, like go to bed and go to sleep. I can't. I want to go to bed and like
chill.
Yeah. Watch my shows.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah, same.
Yeah.
A bit of downtime.
Just
you know
the
how
downtime.
it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Back in I was saying this to kids at work because it's known as wombat season. We live on Wurundjeri country and it's wombat season.
Okay.
Because wombats come out whenever they get a little bit of sunshine and the rest of the time they burrow into their little, and I was like, we need to burrow in today. Like, guys, let's be wombats.
Stay inside, stay cozy and warm.
Stay cozy and warm. Let's be wombats.
I love it. Very, very good.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the whole thing about winter, isn't it? Is just bunkering down and
yes.
Yeah. But everything's just, you go outside and everything's damp. I went to do some gardening the other day because I had a bit of time and I'm like, our garden really needs a going over.
Yeah.
And I also cut down a tree and I'm like halfway, well, to be honest. So we've got an olive tree in our backyard and it has grown. We had another tree that we had to have cut down because it was a gum tree and it actually dropped a limb on our house.
Oh, wow.
Nothing bad, thankfully nothing bad happened.
Yeah.
But I'm like, if one of the bigger limbs fell, then the kids sleep up that end of the house. Not great. So probably a few years ago we had that tree cut down by arborists and it was a massive tree. So that's gone. Since that tree's gone, everything else in our backyard is flourishing. Yeah. That tree must have just been taken all of the sunlight and all the nutrients out of the soil. So we had an olive tree that was basically next to this gum tree.
Yeah.
And it has gone from being this piddly little shitty olive tree that wasn't growing to being absolutely massive and so many olives on it. Like it never fruited
even
before.
Olives, wow.
Yeah, it never fruited before.
Yeah.
So anyway, lovely tree, and somebody very, very close to us gave us this tree and it really meant a lot. It had a lot of sentimental value, this olive tree. But since we got Piper, she's been eating the olives that drop from the tree and it gives her diarrhea.
Yes, I was going to say that would not be good.
Yeah, I'm like, why would you eat them? Have you ever tried an unbrined
No, because I know how
tree?
bad they are. I know a family friend who grew lots of olives in his yard. I remember going to his house and going, eat them, go on, eat them. I'm like, no.
They are disgusting. Yeah. So any wonder it gave her the runs. Do you think that stopped her?
Oh, God, no. God, no.
So I'm like, we actually have to cut this tree down because we can't have her have diarrhea, most of the year. Yeah. So it was a bit sad to get rid of it, but also it was then starting to take over our whole, almost, starting to take over that corner of our backyard. So anyway, so one day,
could you graft a bit of it?
I have kept a little bit of it that I'm thinking I'll be able to put in a pot. I think I'll be able to do that.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
But anyway, so this one day, Peter, no one was home and it was a beautiful day outside. I'm like, I'm cutting that fucking tree down today. So I get out there and I've got my hands sore and I'm sawing away. I was so sore after doing this. Oh my God. Anyway, I'm getting ropes and putting ropes around branches and hoiking them down. I was actually very impressed. But then as I do, I do half a job and then I'm like, I'm bored of this now.
Yeah,
so, the tree's it was fully cut down to the stump.
Right.
All of the branches are all over our backyard. Turns out, big trees, lots of branches.
What?
Who knew?
Who knew?
Anyway, so then Peter actually literally spent the next 2 weekends bundling it all up, cutting all the branches down, getting rid of it all. But we've still got now this. So, and then a friend of ours came over last weekend and he was like, I'm digging that stump out. So he's like, literally, it took him hours to dig the full root.
I love that someone else has done it, not Peter.
Oh, I love it. And Peter was helping.
Yeah, right.
I think providing
beer.
Yeah, providing beers. And so the stump's now out, but it is huge. So we're going to actually need this. It's massive.
What?
Yeah, we're going to need
I didn't know olive trees could get that big.
Nor did I mean they do get big, but this is ridiculous.
That's crazy. I mean, because I've got this lovely olive tree that someone I know gave me, and that's flourishing in the pot at the moment. That I'm like, because I moved it out further from underneath some area just to get some more because I felt like it wasn't thriving enough. I was like, oh my god, I don't want it to die because like I've got to keep that alive. Yeah. And I moved it and now it's like taking over a bit. I'm going to move it back because I'm like, no, you need less. Like,
you're getting too much sun.
But I'm like, there's no way it's going to get to that. Like that's insane.
Yeah, crazy, absolutely crazy. Anyway, I don't know why I was talking about that. Why was I talking about the tree? Cutting down trees, not finishing jobs. I don't know.
How did we get here? Winter.
Maybe winter. I don't even know.
Yeah.
Peter loves the fact that I don't finish a job almost ever.
It's great.
But you know what I'm really good at?
Starting them.
I'm great at starting a job.
And seeing the job that needs to happen.
That's right. Exactly.
Peter loves that.
Yes. And I'm really good at like, at the end of the day, I would have gotten that job finished because I would have had some burst of motivation to like tidy up and then I would have worked until it had all gone.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
But I can't, when it's all in one go. It's like when I clean the house. I think most women probably experience this.
Yeah.
You go to one room to do a job and then that takes you to another room to do another job. But at the end of the day, you might not do one job in full in any one go, but at the end of the day, everything comes together and all your jobs are done.
Oh, God, yeah. That is exactly right. I mean, it's like it's the whole, like, you're carrying a basket, like, through the house to, put clothes in the drawers and it's like next thing the basket's been put down because you've seen something else you got to do on the way and, I'll do that. Oh, I forgot to do that.
Yep.
They all get done eventually.
Yeah,
you get back to the basket eventually.
At some point. And Peter doesn't understand that because he's so one-minded.
Yeah, one-minded.
His focus is singular.
Yeah, but that's very male trait, though.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. He sees, because he'll just go and do a job and I'm like, how did you walk past?
Yeah, the 10 other
seven
jobs.
things that also needed to get done.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's the basket on the stairs that I ask the kids to put their clothes away. And they walk past it every time. And it's like, oh, my God.
Oh, that's laziness.
Oh,
My
it is,
kids
but
are like
they
that.
literally just don't even see it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Because I remind them about it all the time.
Like but how hard is it when you go up, take the basket up with you?
And then they'll complain because I'm like, right, off your devices. I want those baskets off the stairs. So they'll like bitch and moan about it. Where I'm like, you could have taken it the other
Days
10
ago.
times you were going up those stairs anyway.
Yeah.
Don't make me out to be the baddie.
Yeah, that's it. Sort yourselves out, boys.
Sort yourselves out.
Seriously.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, it's my only way to getting shit done is if I do 10 different jobs at once.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't focus on one. I get bored. I get bored too easily.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it means that job that you're putting off, you just get it done in small bits.
That's right. And then it doesn't seem as like
overwhelming.
big and overwhelming.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you can distract yourself with other things in between too.
Oh, God, like a podcast. Like
listening. I definitely need to be listening to a podcast when I'm doing my job.
Yeah, it actually motivates me to do stuff.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I want to listen. So if it
Exactly.
takes a bit longer, that's fine because I'm entertained.
I'm entertained and I'm listening to that and I want to hear the end of it. So I'll keep going. Yeah.
What podcasts have you been listening to lately?
I literally was saying this to one of our listeners who was messaging me some really great suggestions on some podcasts recently. And I find that the podcasts I'm listening to are generally either on the topic that we're doing, kind of stuff, because I'm so poor at the moment. Particularly at the moment, I find. I don't know why. It's just at the moment,
winter.
But it is.
We've got 2 sports. We've got so much going on for each kid. Yeah.
Really busy. But yeah, so I'm not listening to my podcasts so much, whereas I'm listening to things that are related to what we're doing or whatever.
Yeah.
Just to get that final, get the timeline in my brain or whatever, to top up some info or whatever. But yeah, no. So I'm not listening to my usuals. But I mean, I always go back to like True Crime Cocktails is a fave, all that. But I do like. I love anything by Amy Poehler, all the ones that she's.
Oh,
I mean,
God,
all
I
of them,
love
but
her.
So good.
She's so good.
Yeah, but I'm not. I'm just not into my podcast like I was.
Yeah.
I'm into it, but I just don't have the time for it.
Yeah,
I'm not in,
I feel like
yeah.
I'm in exactly the same boat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's like the usual, like, I've got the Squiz, the adult version that I listen to get some news here and there.
Yeah, quick
But
10-minute news update.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's really probably about what I do regularly at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm about the same.
Yeah. Which sucks, but
It does
I will get
suck.
back to having time.
Yeah. When's that going to be?
Yeah,
when
you
the
know,
kids are like 30?
Maybe. And they'll be grandkids.
Yeah, that's true. There's never any time.
God, Brody named his kids on the weekend.
Oh,
So
go tell me
fucking
what are
funny.
his names. What are the names? Oh, God, here we go.
Oh, yeah. So this is the kid who named his axolotl Kyle, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So getting an idea. So for the boy, it's going to be Bartholomew.
At Bart for short?
No, well, I said to him, I go, you mean Bart, like The Simpsons? And he was like, huh? No, his name's Bart. No, I want Bartholomew. Like, oh, so we're not abbreviating it. He goes, how do you get Bart out of Bartholomew? So, but then there's the girl's name.
Oh, this is going to be great. Go.
Gary.
Let's hope he doesn't have a girl.
He's like, nah, I think it's a good, strong name for a girl. Gary.
Good strong name. Oh, she's going to be teased so badly.
I know. I said you can't call a girl Gary. Like even blokes aren't called Gary these days.
Unless you're born pre-1980.
He looks at a baby and goes, "Oh, how cute's Gary?" Like, I said, "You can't do that." And he's like, "No. By the time I have a child," he goes, "Everyone will be naming their kid Gary after I do it."
Because he's such a trendsetter. Oh, God, I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Let's hope his partner will be like, oh, that's an absolute hard no.
No. Yeah. I'll be that the partner. I'm on your team.
100%. Me too. We'll all band together against him.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Remember when Lucas and Brody were going to have babies together?
Yeah.
We were like, we're going to be grandparents at the same time
of the same child.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
That would be so nice. Yeah, they're not talking like that anymore.
No, they're not. Shit. I need to get them back to that.
Yeah. They're like, what? We never said that. What are you talking about?
They totally did.
Yeah. Well, they were going to definitely live together in the same house.
The odd couple.
Yeah. Oh, aren't they though?
Oh, that'd be hilarious.
That'll be very funny.
Oh my God.
All right. I have some updates for today.
Yes.
Now, I don't know if you saw this in the news this week, but this would apply to Jared Baden Clay, who actually comes
piece
up.
of shit.
Oh my God! But he comes up for parole next year.
Does he really?
Yep. Technically, he can apply
He won't
for
get
parole. No, he probably won't. I can't imagine he will, but he's eligible to apply for parole from next year. But
For his
however,
daughter's sake, I hope he does.
there is a new parole system change in Queensland that is, I think they're trying to get it through the Senate at the moment.
Yeah.
That the most dangerous criminals will get an additional 10-year non-parole added to their sentences.
Okay.
And so, like for Jared Baden Clay, he was sentenced to life with a 15-year non-parole. This change would mean that he's ineligible to apply for parole for an additional 10 years.
I love that would come into play right at the point of him being, that would just be icing on the cake of that.
For me, the other thing that this reform I think is really, will be really good for is they also plan to notify the victims' families, which isn't actually something they do in Queensland at the moment.
Real?
Yep. But the families will also have an opportunity to speak at any parole hearing. Again,
As they should.
Yes, as they should. But at the moment, that's not in the legislation.
Is that just Queensland?
This
Because
is
I'm
just
sure
Queensland.
other states
Other
that's
states
not
are
the
different.
case.
No,
Yeah.
but this is Queensland. So they're basically going through a whole
reform of it
reform
all.
in the parole sort of
sounds like it
system.
really needs it.
Yeah,
because
I think this will come into this episode a little bit too in terms of parole and all of that sort of stuff.
Yeah, we had someone actually ask us to do like a full episode on parole and bails and things, which is not a bad idea. I don't know if we'd have maybe Patreon.
Yeah.
But like I said, we'll definitely be touching it on this episode that we released today. So yeah, it'd be part of this because it's certainly an issue
and
across
I really
Australia,
hope-
but Victoria, is also
in this particular
shit.
case. Yeah. But made Jared Baden Clay fucking rot in prison.
Absolutely.
And then now I also have some recommendations. So I was just thinking about this week. I'm like, I tried a new product this week.
Oh.
And it blew my mind.
Oh, we're looking for sponsorship, are we?
Happy to be sponsored.
Yeah.
Pickle flavoured twisties.
Oh, wait, what?
Yep.
And they're good?
Oh, my God. So Oliver is a nut job when it comes to like buying weird and wacky
I love
foods,
his food.
right?
Like, it's so opposite to my kids.
Yeah.
I'm just obsessed with it.
So our local IGA, as most IGAs do, they often have quirky things.
Right.
And so he'll go up there and, or when he rides home on a Friday with his mates, they'll stop in and get a treat on the way home or chips from the fish and chip shop or whatever, cute as.
Yeah.
And anyway, this day, on Friday, he came home with pickle-flavoured twisties. And I was like, oh, I can't imagine I love a pickle, don't get me wrong. But I'm like, how could you get a pickle and twisty?
Yeah.
It's like a wet food and a not wet food.
Yeah.
How's that going to work? Oh my God, they are delicious. Do yourself a favour. If you see them, get them. They are so yum.
I literally, like last night, because I don't have my kids tonight, and I'm like, I need a good snack for tomorrow night to watch. I've got a movie I want to watch. And I'm like, it's going to require a good snack.
Oh, yeah.
Right,
and I love the texture of a twisty. Like
I
the
do,
crunch of a twisty, there is nothing like it.
Twisties are great.
Yeah. Are you a chicken twisty or a cheese twisty person?
Oh, that's a big call. Because it's a mood thing for me.
Of course it is. So what mood do you have to be in for a cheese twisty?
Okay, so it's actually a thing that I've just realised it is. I've never thought about this, but it's totally, a cheese twisty is just your regular. You're normal.
Okay.
And then, but a chicken twisty is like, I need a snack.
Okay.
Yeah. For me,
Okay.
that's just,
See, to me,
I've got a cravings sort of kind of need to have.
Yeah.
Whereas cheese twisty is just, it's a cheese twisty and they're
cheese
good.
twisties to me are a party twisty.
Maybe that's where my brain's going. Yeah. Maybe it's just, that's just normal twisty. Like, so that's, if I want it, they're there, I have them.
Yeah.
I like them.
Yeah.
But chicken twisties, like, I don't know, a bit extra.
Yeah.
It's just a bit different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any day, I would choose a cheese twisty over a chicken twisty. However, I do also like a chicken twisty, whereas my dad, he's a chicken twisty all the way kind of a guy. Yep.
Yeah. It's definitely a mood thing for me.
Well, you know what? I'm a dill pickle twisty.
Dill pickle twisty
person now.
All right, I'm going to give this a whirl.
Absolutely delicious.
I'll be coming for Oliver if it's not any good.
Yeah. Fair. Oh, totally fair. Yeah, go to him. Don't talk to me about it.
No.
Another recommendation. Have you watched season 1 and now they've got season 2 is coming out of Rivals? Have you watched Rivals? You need this weekend.
Heated Rival?
No, not Heated Rivalry. Rivals. So David Tennant is in it and he plays, it is so good. You need to watch it this weekend.
Okay. All right. I needed new shows.
Yep.
All right.
So for those of you who it's got a cult following.
Yeah.
For those of you who've watched season 1, please let me know in the comments what you're thinking of season 2.
Okay.
I'm 4 episodes, I think, into season 2.
Sounds like a good amount of watching. Okay.
Oh, it's so good.
What app's it on? What streaming
You can
service?
get it on the one that I've given you.
I can't use that at the moment.
Okay, we'll talk about that later. Maybe password's been changed or something, but don't worry. Anyway, we'll figure that out later.
Yeah.
But 100% it is so good.
Okay.
I want everyone to tell me what they're thinking.
Ooh.
Those who are watching. Now, a couple of other things. Mm-hmm. When we created our merch, and if anybody wants some, twocrimebesties.com/merch will take you to our Redbubble store. When we created the absolute piece of shit logo that we put on merchandise.
Yes.
Right? Actually, anyone who's watching this, I've got my absolute piece of shit mug here today. Now, I love that we've got people who love our merch.
Yeah.
But I feel like if you're purchasing an absolute piece of shit attire, there's a time and a place to wear it.
Oh, do you mean maybe not your kids' sports events?
Yeah. So, Sunday, junior sport, mum and dad rocker.
I love this.
Mum's wearing her white, so it stands out like there's no tomorrow.
She had a coat on over the top of it.
She did.
But the coat was definitely being separated.
Oh, yeah.
To like put that out there.
The logo is front and center on that hoodie,
huge on
and
that
it's
one.
big.
Yeah.
And I think she bought a bigger size too, so it looks
even
bigger
bigger
on her body. Absolute piece of shit hoodie.
Oh,
my dad,
Russell.
his is a little bit more subtle because he's got a navy blue hat and it's got the darker logo on the hat.
But it's there.
Absolute. Oh, God, yeah. I mean, it's not like you can't see it.
I just love the photo I got. It was so good.
I was like, you can't wear that here, Mum. And she's like, what? No, I can.
See, my mum went for the subtle Stay Curious hoodie.
Yeah.
So she wore that to our basketball on the weekend. And
Thanks, Pat.
Yeah, that's fine. Although we wear matching because I wore mine. Because it's perfect for, like, it's
it's nice and
so
cozy.
warm.
Yeah.
Love my Stay Curious hoodie. Like, without it being our logo stuff, I'd buy it. It's so good.
Yeah,
I love
so
the quality of it.
cozy,
It's so good.
yeah.
But, so we're both sitting there wearing our Stay Curious. But, yeah.
Yeah. And while we're talking about merch, actually, I need to give a shout out to my friend from work, Jo.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And she is representing at work. So she got a tote bag, which is actually really good quality too.
Looking at, I think I need one.
I think I need one too. I think when we do our next order, we'll get a bag each.
Yeah.
And she's got the mug, uses it at work. Not an absolute piece of shit because she's like, I knew I wanted to use it at work. So she's got the logo mug.
Yes.
And she's got stickers that she's put on her drink bottle. I'm like, she's so supportive.
Well, you noticed back
and
my laptop as well. So
I've put one of those on my car.
Oh, on your car?
Yep.
Oh, bring it. I was wondering where I was going to put the absolute piece of shit.
Yep.
Now I'll put it on my car.
Yep. Everyone will be like, what? Your car's an absolute piece of shit? No, it's not. It's not. And then just a really quick shout out to producer Pete for making us coffees every week and setting up our studio most weeks.
Yeah.
He's really upset because we haven't mentioned him for a while.
Talking about the coffee though, last week I got a really great pattern on top of my coffee. It was a nice leaf.
Oh, it was a leaf.
No, and previously I've had Dick and Balls. I've had, but today, no picture.
Was it a blob? He did have to get to a meeting.
No love's gone into that.
He did have to get to a meeting.
True. But
he probably was late
what's
because
more
he had to
important,
make us
really?
Well, true. Take care, Peter, please.
No, but thank you, Pete. The coffee was good. But yeah.
It's a nice coffee.
Yeah.
He's good.
It's up the game though a little.
Yeah. It's up the latte art. Thank you. All right, shout outs for today. We have heaps of new Patreons. By the time this episode comes out, we will have done our draw, but these guys are in the draw anyway for our merch pack. We've got Lauren, Claudine, Linda Baker, Kate Plate, Charlotte Proudfoot, Emily Harper, and Nikki. So thank you so much, guys, for joining our Patreon. I've sent everyone a message. Like we just... Again, we say this every week. Thank you. We really appreciate it. We've had some coffees bought for us this week as well by Brooke. She said that we make her commute more bearable, so you're welcome.
Yeah.
Louise Henrys, she said we are her favourite pod at the moment.
Yay. Thank you.
And Amber, who loves us and looks forward to Tuesdays.
It's the best day of the week.
We had a message actually this week from someone as well who said that they only just... Oh, actually... They got a shout out. They actually found us through Steph D'Souza. And she said, I've gone back and I've started listening from the start. And she's like, I'm already, after a week and a half, I'm already more than halfway through your episode. And she's like, I don't know what I'm going to do when I come to, having to listen to you weekly. But thank you to Steph D'Souza if you're listening for, sharing our podcast.
What
We've had a few
legend.
people contact us to say that, they found us through you. So thank you.
Well, I found half of my, recipes
Dinner
for
recipes.
dinner through Steph, so maybe I owe her one.
She made this cake the other day.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like one of those impossible cakes that you kind of dump everything in and
somehow
I've
it just
gotta
all
make that.
sinks to the right.
It looks amazing. Like I'm going to make that this
Yeah,
weekend.
for sure. Oh gosh, yeah. She does some great stuff.
Oh, she really, really does. We have also had some lovely comments on our socials this week, so keep that stuff coming, guys. We read all of them. We may not be able to reply to everyone, but we really do our best.
Absolutely.
So we had Chelsea Mateljan. Oh, I've probably absolutely butchered that. I'm really sorry. But she said, thank you so much for expanding my vocabulary from for fuck's sake to piece of shit.
Yeah. Oh, we have such a great vocabulary.
You're welcome. And then Louise Francis sent us a message, and she's like, I just love listening to you guys because the way you talk to one another is the way I talk to my friends. It just feels like it's just like a normal, normal conversation.
You're making us feel normal now because we question ourselves some days.
Some days? All right, let's get into today's episode. I think this one, every episode's hard. There's always elements of these things when we're doing research that are really tough sometimes. This one, I think because we live through it, most Australians will know this case.
Particularly Melburnians.
Especially Melburnians. I cried several times researching this week, and that doesn't always happen with me. I'm usually able to detach myself a little bit, and I do sort of, I don't know how I do it. You and I have spoken about this. We don't know how we do it, but we are able to sort of...
It's compartmentalising, I think, a little bit of like researching this, and you just detach yourself from it a bit.
Yeah.
But there's some of them
I just couldn't with this one.
No.
And I've had a couple of teary episodes, and I think it just speaks to the nature of the person who was the victim in this, then everyone who was left behind, and why it happened, and the frustrating nature of it all. So today we're discussing the rape and murder of Jill Meagher. Now, Jill McCann was born on the 30th of October in 1982 in Drogheda, County Louth in Ireland. I've probably just butchered the names there.
You've done well, I reckon.
I don't know. Anyway, she spent her earliest years in Termonfeckin, a small coastal village just north of Drogheda, and she grew up in a really tight-knit family. So it was her mum and dad, George and Edith McCann, and her brother Michael. So I think he was about 3 years younger than her. They were a really tight-knit family, really lovely family. They, had a, fairly idyllic upbringing in terms of the way they grew up in Ireland. And George got an opportunity to come to Perth for a job. Now, Edith has been interviewed, and basically she said at the time, we didn't have to move. We loved living where we lived, but they sort of had a little bit of a sense of adventure and thought, well, the kids are young enough. Let's go and give it a go.
Yeah.
Nice weather in Perth, compared to where we live in Ireland.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's go and see where this kind of takes us.
Yeah.
So they moved to Perth in Western Australia, and at the time, Jill and her brother attended Bull Creek Primary School, and then they actually Jill started her secondary school education in Perth still at Rossman Senior High School in the southern suburbs of Perth. They stayed in Western Australia until 1996 when they decided to move back to Ireland, and Jill was about 13 or 14 years old at that time. So and according to, I was actually reading some stuff in Ireland's national newspaper, and they were talking about, they interviewed a friend of hers who was her friend before they moved to Australia and remained her friend, and they sort of rekindled their friendship once she moved back.
Yeah.
And she said it was like Jill had not changed at all. No. She was just the same person. She was friendly and bubbly, and she just slotted straight back into life. I have had a personal experience similar to that. When I was a little kid, I was in grade 2, I think, and we moved to Mexico. And then I came back to the same primary school, and it was so weird for me because everyone had gone through all of this stuff together, and I'd had a very different experience, and it took me a bit to kind of get back into the swing of things.
Yeah.
But for Jill, it was just like she kind of kept rolling on with the flow, and
goes to her personality, I think, of someone who could just roll with it. Which is really testament to her, absolutely. And
definitely. So once they were back in Ireland, she finished off her secondary school education at Drogheda Grammar School and St Oliver's Community College. Her friends and classmates described her as like somebody who was incredibly intelligent. She was really creative, expressive in the way that she, carried herself, and she was quite an independent person. So she had her own, I guess we all have our own unique, attributes, but Jill was quite sure of herself, and she had a certain sense of style that she really took to, and she knew herself from quite a young age, which I think is quite remarkable.
Oh, totally.
Yeah. Amazing. She moved to Dublin to attend university. I think that was around 2009, 2010, and she graduated with a Bachelor of Arts degree. She really wanted to study broadcasting, and so that was kind of where the focus of her studies was.
Yeah.
She did communication, literature, media production, all of that sort of stuff, because she already knew that that's kind of the pathway that she wanted to take.
Yeah.
After university, she worked for the national broadcaster, so I think it would be Australia's equivalent of the ABC or UK's BBC, called RTE. I'm not even going to try to pronounce what RTE stands for. Our Irish
Put
friends,
Irish accent onto it. Go on.
Oh God, I'm actually not even going to attempt it. When she first started out, as we do in our careers, she started out as an admin sort of assistant.
Yeah.
And she then started doing a little bit of producing different parts, and that kind of really grew her profile within that organisation. And she really just worked her way up.
Yeah.
She was just amazing. It was during this time that she went to a party, and she was introduced to a man by the name of Tom Maher, who, by a mutual friend of theirs. Now, apparently on the night of their meeting, Tom describes it as really awkward because her hand was bandaged, and he said when they went to shake hands, and then it was really awkward because her hand was bandaged, and so they kind of did a weird handshake with the left hands, and he said it was really quite awkward. But she'd hurt her hand in what he described it as a characteristically clumsy thing that she'd done, and it was just the way she was, and he went on to learn that very, very quickly, because it wasn't long after they met that they started dating. And Tom says that he knew pretty early on that she was the one.
Yeah.
They really fell in love. They were both very like-minded, I think, and probably at a really similar place in their lives. And they dated for about 7 years before getting married.
Yeah.
So they married in Ireland in 2008, and there's some really beautiful photos that you can find online, and we can maybe pop some on the socials of their wedding day, because they look really happy.
They do. They look
young.
So
they look
happy.
so young.
So young.
Yeah. And just gorgeous. So given that they were both quite adventurous, and as I said, they were both sort of looking for maybe something to shake things up a little bit, and because I guess Jill had the experience of living in Australia before, that was something that she wanted to maybe think about doing again before settling down and having kids and all of that sort of stuff. And so they decided to move to Melbourne because of the sort of really cosmopolitan lifestyle. They wanted to find work that was really engaging and fulfilling for them, and something that would add to their careers.
Yeah.
But also they wanted the lifestyle that Melbourne could afford them, which was, close to bars and nightlife and really eclectic people, and, just really experiencing life and having a really
absolutely.
good time.
Even though they were married at this point, they were still young. They were quite young still, and they were wanting to live life. I think they really had a great plan of, they knew they wanted to be together. They're married. They're in it. But we're still in that stage of, going out. We're not ready for family, having kids yet, but that's something in the future that they're certainly planning kind of stuff. So, really lovely. They were just living life and wanted the adventure before they then settled down.
That's it.
Yeah, just grow that career at the same time, have a bit of everything, Yeah,
and that's exactly what they did. So they rented an apartment in Brunswick, and so at the time, Tom was working as an IT analyst here, and Jill was able to get a job at the ABC.
Yeah.
So she was in a producer type role as well.
Yeah.
She was doing a bit of lots of different things from what I can gather.
Yeah.
She was a bit of a Jill of all trades.
Oh, love it.
See what I did there? So as I said, they rented an apartment. It was just off, for those of you who know the area, just off Sydney Road. And they were really they were doing all of the things that young people do. So they would go out and socialise after work on the weekends, after work on certain nights, and same on weekends. Tom said that one of his favourite things to do at the time was to have a really, they'd go out most Saturday nights with friends, and then they'd wake up and have breakfast on a Sunday at 2 p.m. And that was like, he loved that. It was like a really nice sort of ritual and a nice sort of slow, I mean, you know, we're all a bit, well, back in the day, we were all a bit slow to start on a Sunday morning.
Yeah.
And that was like, you know, he just loved that. He loved that sort of life, and they had fun, and they really had for not having been here that long at the time this incident took place, they really established a really lovely group of friends and a significant support network, didn't they?
I mean, I think that's like comes to that Irish kind of, you know, engaging way of like probably storytelling and, you know, being like enjoying a good drink, all those sorts of things, and being around people that are very social generally, you know. So I got that vibe from Tom and from what I've heard of Jill, that they were, well, particularly, I mean, Jill at this point in time with her broadcasting was actually even talking about wanting to take on a bit of, have a go, a bit of comedy and doing some stand-up comedy. So she clearly had quite a good...
Apparently she had an amazing sense of humour.
Yeah. So a sense of humour, but also a way of, like, you know, making friends and engaging people. So, I mean, they clearly had established themselves really well in terms socially and... Yeah.
Her career at the ABC, so she worked for 774 ABC Melbourne, which is the radio station. She'd already worked her way to be doing some on-air work, and she was really a pivotal part of the like day-to-day operations of the station.
Yeah.
So in the weeks leading up to what we all know is an absolutely horrific incident, it was the sort of late winter in 2012. So in the meantime of Jill and Tom moving to Melbourne, Edith and George decided to also move back to Perth for a while.
Yeah.
Again, I think it was like a weather thing, a lifestyle thing. They absolutely loved living there. The kids were now grown up and were off doing their own things, although I think Michael moved with them when they went to Perth.
Yeah.
They decided to maybe live out their retirement. I think that was the plan at that point.
Yes.
Now, George suffered a stroke in August of 2012. Now, he was really severely impacted by this stroke, so much so that Jill got a phone call in the middle of the night one night to say that he'd had this stroke and that she needed to get to Perth.
Yeah.
So she did. She dropped everything and went straight away. She ended up being over there for about 3 weeks and was really, by that time, George was still quite incapacitated, but he'd recovered enough for them to basically know that he was going to be okay. Like, Jill felt comfortable then leaving Edith and Michael to support George through the remainder of his recovery, and that he was kind of out of the woods, and she was able to come back to Melbourne and back to work and all of that sort of stuff.
Yeah, in the depths of that, when she arrived, her dad talks about the fact that she sat with him and just basically begged him and said, you have to get better because there's going to be grandkids you need to be running around with, and you need to be here for that. So that really was something that he clung to in his recovery of, like, Jill's right, I've got so much more to do because for what's to come with Jill and his son, and so he was really driven by that of, like, I'm going to get through this recovery, and which is beautiful.
Yeah. Oh dear.
Yeah.
It's just really, really sad.
Yeah.
Right. So we're now sort of at the night.
Mm-hmm.
This was Friday the 21st of September in 2012. Do you remember where you were in time when this happened?
Yes, I wasn't. Was I here in Australia? Yeah, we were back, not long back from my honeymoon.
Okay.
So we had a very, very lengthy honeymoon. So we just got married earlier that year. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we were back around here. We were in Melbourne. I must have just gone back to work, maybe, or just about to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of vaguely, because when this all occurred, I feel like it might have been school holidays.
Okay.
So I may not have started back at work yet. Yeah.
We were a couple of months off getting married. We got married in November of 2012.
Yeah.
And I remember finding out, it's one of those things that really sticks in my mind, but I remember finding out about the day, I remember exactly where I was the day they found Jill.
Wow. Yeah.
I can remember it so distinctly. I was at work.
Yeah.
And I remember who told me the news as well.
Wow.
So, yeah, it really is a marker of time for me. Like, I really, really remember. So, Friday the 21st of September, obviously, Jill's had a really stressful month.
Yeah.
She's been at her dad's bedside. You know, there was a possibility he wasn't going to get any better. I actually think I said that she flew from Melbourne to Perth when he had the stroke. But I actually think she was holidaying in Ireland at the time and had to fly back to
seriously?
Perth. I think so.
Oh, I hadn't read that. Yeah, I just assumed. I think that she'd gone from Melbourne.
No,
yeah.
I'm pretty sure she cut a holiday short and that all kind of panned out.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, so she's had a big month in the lead up to all of this. So she and a group of her co-workers, this I love because a lot of this is time-stamped by CCTV, which was obviously kind of everywhere in 2012 and even more so now in 2026. But she and her colleagues left work at like 5:04 or something
Pens
like that.
down.
Yeah. Like, guys, quick, let's get out of here
done.
on the Friday night. And decided to go to the Brunswick Green, which was a really popular pub on Sydney Road in Brunswick. And it was somewhere that was really lively. People went for after-work drinks in particular on a Friday night. According to her colleagues who she went with, Jill was in really high spirits. She was laughing, talking.
She was basically the one leading the crew, like, to get out and get there. She was like, "I'm ready for a drink.
I
Come
need
on."
this, guys. Come on. I've had a stressful week, a stressful month. I need you guys to come. So I think the pub closed at about, was that at like 12:30, 1 o'clock? Maybe a bit before that.
Well, because she went to two different venues.
So she then moved.
So there was one
from
in
there
between. Yeah,
they went somewhere, and then
Yeah.
she ended up at Bar Etiquette, which is another venue on Sydney Road. This was the place where they were having their last drinks of the night.
it was someone's birthday, I think. Actually, that they'd gone to have drinks with. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they ended up being there until the bar closed, which it was at about 1:30 in the morning.
1:30ish. Yeah.
As the night drew to a close, everyone who was there was, figuring out how they were going to make their way home. And so Bar Etiquette was about literally between 400 and 500 metres from where Jill
I think
and
700
Tom lived.
metres.
Oh, was it?
Yeah,
Okay.
it was a 700-metre walk she had.
Yeah, so not far at all.
Not worthy of a taxi.
It was. You wouldn't be able to get a taxi to take you 700 metres
No.
down the road. But one of her friends was like, "Do you want me to?" Oh, actually, a group of her friends were like, "Do you want us to walk you back to your place?" And she was like, "No, like I've done this
or they were saying, like,
1,000
jump in
times
my
before."
cab and I'll drop you off on the way. There was sort of I think one of her friends is Tom, not her husband Tom, another Tom that was with her, had said, just jump in my cab and I'll drop you off on the way and then keep going. But she was like, "Nah, it's fine. I'll walk. It's fine."
Yeah, it's like literally I'll be home in 5 minutes. It's probably quicker for me to walk than to jump in a cab, get you to go around.
And this walk that she would take was down Sydney Road, and it wasn't like there was like sort of the busy pub end of Sydney Road, and then there was the quieter end of the road of the street, but it was still lit up, busy, people around.
There's still like trams, there's still cars. Like Sydney Road's a pretty main thoroughfare.
Absolutely. And so it wasn't like that she was, really walking dark and dingy on her own, not being able to see where she's going. As we said, she's clumsy, and geez, she was wearing some decent high heels at the time too. That I kind of went, whoa.
According to her mum, shoes were her thing.
Yeah,
like she had a really
love that.
quirky sense of fashion.
Yeah.
In general, like with her clothing, but she's like the shoes, that was her thing. And you see the shoes that she's wearing on the night.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh yeah, they are. They're
Like,
really
you're walking
cool.
home in those. I would be like, get my shoes off.
Yeah, wouldn't you be like, yes, I will take that cab.
I'll take the cab so I can get these shoes off now. No, she was, and they were, she's come from work. I love that. She's had them on all day.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
So while she was walking towards her home along Sydney Road, she decided to give her brother a call just to check in on their dad. Now, Perth is probably at that time of it would be 3 hours behind in time zone, so it would have been like 10-ish, 10:30 or something at night there. So she called her brother. They were on the phone for less than a minute, so it would have been just a quick, "Hey, how's Dad going? Has he had a good day today?" Apparently, they would kind of talk. They'd talk or text every day to kind of check in on their dad and make sure everything was all right. That phone call ended, and that was the last time the Perth branch of the family or anyone from her family had actually ever heard from her. Really, really, really tough.
Oh, yeah.
What happens next? So, all right. She's left Bar Etiquette at 1:30. At 1:38, she's dragged... Yeah, let's go here. She's dragged into a laneway off Hope Street, which is literally a few hundred metres from her apartment. A friend of hers actually lives in an apartment that overlooks Hope Street and the laneway and was home at the time, and just I can't even imagine. At about 2:00 in the morning, Tom says he woke up and he was like, oh, that's weird that Jill's not home yet, because she had texted him, I think, earlier in the night, like around the 1 o'clock-ish mark, to say, having my last drink, then I'll be home.
I'm heading home.
Shortly.
Yeah.
So he's like, oh, 2:00. Okay, well, she probably should be home now, I think he knew bar etiquette closed at 1:30.
Yeah.
So he was like, oh, she should be home now.
Yeah.
But then you think, oh, maybe she got talking to everyone out the front, or you could easily explain that away.
You can explain that away, totally. Yeah.
Earlier in the night, though, he had actually fallen asleep on the couch really early.
Yes.
And he woke at one point to see a text message from her saying, meet me at the pub. But he'd fallen asleep, woken up too late to get to the pub, and he was like, nah. I'm not going out now. Again, also been there.
Yeah.
I get that. And anyway, so he then at 2:00, I think, sent her a text message to say, hey, where are you at? You're nearly home. What's going on?
Yeah.
She didn't respond. At 4:22 a.m., it was about that time. It was about 4:20 or something, and when she still wasn't home yet. I mean, he hadn't gone back to sleep yet, waiting for her. There is CCTV footage of this, which we'll get to when we get a little bit deeper into this story. Yeah. But he goes looking for her. He's calling her phone, which is now just going straight to voice message. He's walking the route that he knows that she would take, because she's done it hundreds of times before, as has he. He starts looking around. There's nothing. There's no sign of her, nothing. He then waits until a slightly more decent hour of the morning. I think it was sort of around 7 a.m. or something like that. And he starts phoning her work colleagues, her friends, the people he knew she was out with the night before. No one knew where she was. The last everyone had seen was she was walking home. He contacts her family over in Perth and lets them know that, he just wanted some information. Have you heard from her? Because it'd be weird. He found out about that phone call that had happened with Michael the night before and roughly what time that would have been. So he's like, okay, so at 1:30, she must have been walking home then if she's called Michael. He then literally, he is looking everywhere. So that morning, once all the cafes and everything opens, he goes in, he's got a photo of her on his phone and he's like, have you seen my wife? Have you seen my wife? And he goes to all the places that are open along Sydney Road. No one has seen her. You wouldn't want to think the worst, but you'd be thinking the worst, wouldn't you?
Oh, well, I mean, what else could it be? Where would your brain
go? Would you be like, oh, she's gone home and crashed on someone's couch, or I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, your best case scenario is that one of your friends go, oh my God, did she not message you and tell you she ended up she's here on the couch,
And then you're like, fuck, you should have let me know. I was really worried
you
about
can get angry at them for sure.
Yeah.
Oh God, you've made me worry for nothing. That's in your head, you're hoping for that being the fact that you're going to get angry at them for just not letting you know where they were. But that's not what happened, unfortunately.
So Tom goes to the Brunswick police station early afternoon. So I think it was around just after midday.
Yeah.
And he reports her missing. Now, what they do is they send a couple of constables over to their apartment.
Yeah.
And they interview Tom. They find out all of the relevant information for a missing person. And they took this incredibly seriously because for somebody to have not been able to be contacted by their mobile phone, the fact that he was expecting her home at a certain time and she wasn't home, immediately this raised alarm bells, and detectives were put onto this case very, very quickly.
Yes.
What that meant for that day was that a be on the lookout was put out for her. So when police were patrolling the area, they're looking for Jill, looking for signs of her, looking for whatever. It got pretty serious that evening when nobody had heard from her. And
during that Saturday, they also did do a sweep of the area. Like they do like a line walk basically of sort of where they knew that she would have walked through. They tracked where sort of like they roughly said like in that where they should expect her to be if she'd left, if, you know, with the phone call they knew she'd had, you know, what time she must have left the bar, and if she's going home, where would she have gone? So they did a full sweep of that area at this point.
And
to sort of didn't find anything. No.
So I guess I think that was done on the Sunday, that full
Saturday
sweep.
originally.
Was that the Saturday, was it? Okay.
Yeah.
I think they must have done one again on the Sunday then, just to see if anything was missing. And by the time Monday, the 24th of September rolls around, the case is handed to the missing persons, which is part of the homicide squad.
Mm-hmm.
And given the really suspicious circumstances, the Victoria Police Homicide Squad take over from the local police. Now, we know, and some of our favourite detectives were involved in this, our beautiful Ron Iddles, Charlie Bazina. We've spoken about these guys before. They were both involved in this in different capacities.
Ron Iddles was on holidays at the time in his caravan.
I love it, but keeping up to date, on the phone 20 times a day to different people.
For lengthy periods. He was, you know, heading it up. Almost not quite, because he knew he had a very good team behind him, as he would say. You know, he gets sort of the name of it, but there's many others that were involved. But he was on the phone to them, like constantly talking through like aspects of this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's such a caring person, and he just could see that there was something not right here.
This was not right. Yep.
So, of course, when a homicide or missing person is being investigated, they have to... I listened to an interview from one of the detectives, and he basically said that a missing persons case is very different to a homicide where you've got a body, because you've got nothing.
No, you start with nothing, whereas at least you don't have a crime scene.
Body, you don't have a crime scene, you don't have anything to go on. So, of course, they have to start by interviewing Tom.
Yep.
Now, this interview, the way they interviewed Tom has traumatized this detective for the rest of his life. Mm-hmm. He said they were brutal because the chances were that Tom had done something. Mm-hmm. It's very likely when a person goes missing or there's, you know, suspicious circumstances that it is your intimate partner.
Statistically speaking, it's someone who's known to you.
They said not only did they search their apartment from top to bottom, they seized his car.
Yep.
They did absolutely everything. He said they rode him so hard. They were just, he said, we were brutal. I think that was the word they used.
Good.
100%.
And Tom says the same.
Oh, he's,
yeah.
I love this man. I just love this man.
Yeah.
So they've done that, and they've then been able to very quickly rule him out as a suspect for so many reasons. Yep. But most of all, the thing that really got him was when he went at 4:00-ish in the morning to look for Jill.
Yes.
There was CCTV footage of him. His mobile phone was able to be tracked that he was walking the opposite way down Sydney Road looking for Jill.
Yep.
And at the same time, the police by this stage knew that Jill's phone was actually travelling in the opposite direction towards, like, out of Melbourne.
Yes. Yeah.
So they were like, well, their phones weren't even
near each other.
Yeah. They were able, and then that paired with the CCTV footage of him, 100%, he had nothing to do with it.
And the simple fact of the matter is that Tom was able to sit in that brutal interview and gave his, like, count of, like, what he had done. Mm-hmm. And then they went away and went, right, okay, well, now we'll look at your phone. And, he said he messaged Jill at this time. Yep, there it is. He said he was out in the front of, the apartment and looking for Jill at that time. Oh, there he is on the CCTV. There was no lying. There was no, everything matched up. Everything he said was fact, which if you're innocent, that's what happens. So, they were immediately able to go, this guy's
nothing
not
to
the
hide,
guy.
You hide nothing.
Exactly.
Like he was an open book. He
nothing
gave them
to
everything
hide.
they wanted.
Yeah.
He gave them the clothes he was wearing at the time, everything. And
which this is the thing where I kind of go, in that, and as much as like it's awful that he's got to be looked at, as someone, if you're in that situation, you want them to clear me, because, you know, if you're clearing me, you're then looking in the right place potentially of like finding the person, because it's not me, you know, like wouldn't you want that to happen? So, which is what Tom has come out and said after as well, that he's no, like they've done the right thing. He knew that they, you know, that if they're going to go that hard on me, they're going to go that hard on everyone else and find the person who did this.
Yeah.
Which I think is great. Exactly how it should be.
Yeah, definitely. And his attitude towards it is probably what everyone's should be as
yeah.
well.
Oh, this is it.
On the 25th of September, so this is on the Tuesday now.
Yeah.
There was a CCTV footage breakthrough. The police actually found this out the day before, and this CCTV footage, and they were really debating whether or not to release it to the public because they're like, will it hinder the investigation? Will it just create more work for us? Is this little piece of this little snippet of footage, is this actually relevant to the case? Because if it's not, it's going to create so much more work from us and distract from other things potentially. But they ultimately decided to release the footage, which was from the Duchess boutique. Now, this is, I think everyone who knows about this case will have seen
Everyone's
this footage.
seen it, yeah.
But basically, the CCTV camera is inside the boutique and it's looking to the outside, so looking
through
basically through the front door. And you can what you can see is Jill walking past. She's got her mobile phone in her hand. Is she on her mobile phone at the start?
I think so.
And then, they think is the end of the phone call with Michael. They then see that she's got her mobile phone in her hand and she's approached by a man in a blue hoodie. Now, they speak for about 45 seconds on the camera, like that you can sort of see. And then Jill sort of like awkwardly sort of moves around and kind of backs away and kind of keeps walking. And that's all we can see. We don't know anything else at the time.
So prior to that, though, on the Monday, they did find in an alleyway just off of Hope Street her handbag. Now, that handbag, as we said, they'd done a sweep of the area on the Saturday, and then I think again on the Sunday they'd been around the area and not found anything. Now, that handbag then is there on Monday, and they're called out to look at this handbag. Someone found it. Yeah. So they're called out to find this. They look at this handbag, and it turns out this handbag has Jill's things in it. It does belong to Jill. This baffled the police too, because they're like, we have been here, we've done checks. Like, this is not just police fuck up, like, you know, that they've missed something. This would have been found. Why is it only being found Monday? That's so odd. But anyway, they rope this area off and, you know, create a crime scene.
Yeah, they get this amazing crime scene investigator to come and she's amazing.
Yeah.
And she actually ended up also not only finding the bag, but she also found cigarette butts.
Yes.
Further down the laneway that hadn't been found when the first sweep was done.
No, well, they didn't know to look any further down that alleyway because they were looking at where she would have been walking.
That's right.
So if their bag had been found, which was more obvious, they would have looked further, because also down that alleyway they then find she sort of sees a scene where she immediately knew what that's like. What that meant. The way that things were placed, the way things were moved or, I don't know, disturbed.
Yes.
She identified it as potentially an area where like a rape has occurred.
Yeah.
So there was a few things found there, including I think it was a badge from ABC. So clearly, it was hers. Yep. So a couple of other items were found in that same area. They were like, this is the crime scene, that they were able to sort of then identify further. Turns out that handbag, which they could have potentially then found on the Saturday, should have. A shopkeeper on the Saturday had arrived to his job for the day or whatever, and he found that bag in the alleyway and picked it up and took it into his shop, thinking, someone will come looking for it. I'll keep it here. So it wasn't until, I believe, Sunday night, his daughter rang him when all this sort of started breaking into the news and like this happening. His daughter just happened to mention to him and say, God, Dad, that's right near your shop. Like, there's something, she was along that street, along that, that area. That's incredible. Did you see anything, or have you got any CCTV, kind of thing, that he's kind of gone, that handbag. Now, instead of ringing the police, he goes and puts the bag back in the alleyway where he found it.
And just leaves it?
Leaves it there. He never even called the cops then.
No. It could have been taken by someone. Like, what a fucking idiot.
Fucking idiot. He didn't come out with that information. So the police could not work out. It was frustrating them out of nowhere, because kind of going, who's missed this? Why? How the hell have we missed this? But they knew they
actually
hadn't.
had photographic evidence.
Yeah,
of the
that it
fact
wasn't
that they
there.
hadn't missed it.
No, this is the thing, and they're like,
Yeah.
"What the hell is going on here? Has someone?" Because in their minds, they're going, "Has the perpetrator brought it back?" And then because that's, you look at the scene differently in terms of it being dumped there, because then this isn't a crime scene, this is just where it's been dumped. But
Yeah.
that luckily that they did have really great detectives on this that realised that this was a bigger crime scene than that and went further into it, because otherwise it could have been brushed off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
I mean,
fucking
I
idiot.
guess-
If you see something, say something. I fucking,
100%. What a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
People never cease to amaze
Oh,
me,
totally.
honestly.
Yeah.
Especially because this was so well publicised as
Yes.
well. Like, you didn't think to maybe, like, yeah, okay, you've done nothing wrong,
No,
really. You
no.
didn't know that this was part of a crime scene. You just ring the police.
Ring
and
the
go,
police
"Oh my
that Sunday
God,
night and
this
go,
is what's
I picked up a
happened."
bag. I haven't even looked in it. I don't know
Yeah.
whose it is, but maybe it's something you need to look into.
Yeah.
You can come and get it.
Yep.
And I'll tell you where I found it.
Yep.
But no,
You're
he
not
didn't
gonna
even
get into trouble.
Didn't ring anyone. He just put it back there.
Yep.
And then left it alone again. It wasn't till like ages after all this that he came out and said, actually, I put it there.
Yeah. Dickhead.
Oh my God, you want to wring people's necks?
Yep.
Seriously.
Anyway, the police have released this CCTV footage of Jill and this man in the blue hoodie, and it goes viral. Like,
Yeah.
people are sharing it here, there, and everywhere.
Yeah.
It's really, like, I'm talking globally. This was a massive, massive story.
Yeah.
There were
The police did know who this person was, though.
Yeah, they
already.
did. They did.
Yeah,
knew.
they knew from the image that this was someone who was known to police. So it wasn't as if they were looking at somebody kind of going, we need to find out who this man is by releasing it. They were releasing it trying to basically sort of spark this guy coming forward in some way, I guess, or
Well,
something.
I think
or
they didn't really know where he was.
that was more to it, I think.
It
yeah.
was like, have you seen this man?
Yeah,
Blah, blah,
they
blah.
knew his name.
Yep.
They knew his history.
Yep.
And knew that this was really bad and they needed to get him off the street.
Yeah. Now, I guess they were able to really cement what they thought they knew. This kind of, by this stage, was the Wednesday. Now, the digital forensics experts, the people who were like looking at tracking the phones, the analysts for Victoria Police,
Yep.
were tracking. So they knew Jill's, I don't know, whatever it is. They were tracking Jill's phone. What they were able to do was track Jill's phone along one of the tunnels, one of the tunnels with a toll through Melbourne.
Yep.
And they were able to then get, so her phone was in the tunnel at this time. There was a toll for this car, this car, this car, this car, and this car at that time, or within that minute.
Yes.
They were then able to rule out and look at all of those cars, figure out that the number plate of one of them belonged to one Adrian Ernest Bayley, was registered to one Adrian Ernest Bayley.
Yeah.
And then when they tracked his phone, they were able to see that his phone and Jill's phone were moving along
Travelling
together towards Gisborne. Mm-hmm. When they get to Gisborne, Jill's phone is no longer traceable.
Well, it just stops there. It
Just
doesn't go
stops.
anywhere else.
Sorry, yes, it
Yeah.
stops. And Adrian's comes back
Yeah. Comes back to
to
Melbourne.
Melbourne.
Yeah.
By Thursday,
Which also sort of showed where that Tom's phone, just to link him back in again,
Sorry.
ruling him out as well, that they could see where her phone was going, but his phone, I think you said that earlier, actually, yeah.
no, that's
his
fine.
phone
didn't go anywhere near
where
and
her phone
certainly
went.
didn't leave Brunswick.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah.
On Thursday at 2:30 p.m., using a combination of all the tips they received, because there were a lot of people who saw that CCTV footage and went, I know exactly who that person is. Mm-hmm. The mobile phone tracking data that we've just spoken about,
Yeah.
and the fact that they were able to track his car, which is registered to him, that was travelling at the same rate that Jill's phone was travelling at the time.
Yeah.
They arrest 41-year-old Adrian Ernest Bayley at his home in Coburg.
Yeah.
Now, they interview him at length that day.
Oh, at length. It was full on.
It was so full, and so it fucking well should be.
You can see a
because-
lot of the recordings of his interviews, and it is pretty interesting watching him as a person. I found it fascinating in that respect of like his demeanour, the way the police interview him, which was really interesting to hear, like Ron saying, like, so he was off in his caravan, and that the way the cops would, they'd go in and start their interviewing process, and they'd go out, ring Ron, like, this is where we're up to, this is how we get, this is what's going on. And he'd like coach them on where to go to next, which I found really interesting. How, I mean, he's just so good at his job. Ron.
Oh, he's amazing.
And every one of these cops, look to him for advice on this and learn from him. And they were all. Ron said he knew the lead cop in this was very capable, but still relying on Ron and step by step of where to go to next was really interesting.
Yep.
Oh yes, but the process of going through that interview was so lengthy because he did just deny, told random stories and lies.
Yeah, I mean the way they conduct the interview, I think hats off to the police.
Patient is one way that...
They are so patient, but they're also really great at establishing rapport, which I think does come from the leadership of Ron.
Totally.
He's incredible with that. And, the persistence they had, the way they don't trick him into anything.
No.
They present facts and ask him to respond to the facts. So when they first arrested him, they actually did a search of his house. And when they were at his house, they found a SIM card that had been partially destroyed. Now, when they were able to look up the number on that SIM card was Jill. So they're like, 100%, we've got our guy.
It was, she's then in his apartment in some
house.
way. Like, you're not saying she physically, but there is evidence of her in his apartment.
Yeah.
So
how did that happen?
How do you know Jill and what's going on here?
So before they presented this SIM card evidence to him, they would put different things to him like, okay, well, why is your car travelling along?
Even prior to getting to that, though, I love the way Ron described this even, was that they said to him, tell us your movements from this time to this time, right? And they just let him tell his story. And apparently for an hour, he took an hour to explain his movement over, this 24-hour period.
Yeah.
And then Ron said, and that's where we went right back to, okay, thanks for that. Tell us all that. Now let's go back to like, you said this, and they pick that bit apart step by step. And that was when they bring in their facts from that. So like, that doesn't align with what we
have. You said this, but we've actually got evidence of your car going through the tunnel, but you said you were in Coburg at the time.
Yeah, with your girlfriend or whatever. Yeah.
Well, he said he had a fight with his girlfriend that night and he was looking for her.
Yeah.
That was his excuse of why he was out and about.
Yeah.
So
and they had CCTV of him at certain bars that night and all these things.
Oh, yeah, he was. He was, having a big night himself. I think. But when they put a lot of this evidence to him, he would say, I can't explain it. I can't explain it. And then they get to the point, for him, I think he's still thinking, oh, I've got this. Like, then there's no way. He was smug as fuck.
He was smug as fuck. It's really
horrible.
Yeah.
But then they put the SIM card evidence to him, which is the one thing that he cannot, like, there is no way around that, right?
No.
And he says then, he's like, I don't want to explain that.
No.
That then really changes the tone.
It really does.
It really does, doesn't it? And he kind of, you can almost see he's like, oh, fuck, they've got me. Like, I don't know how I'm going to weasel my way out of this.
Yeah, it's so interesting because then the lead cop kind of goes, okay, well, let's just take a break then, because he knew that he knew he had him.
Yep.
He thought, and that he needs a break because he knew he'd broken him kind of at that point.
Yeah. Well,
he had a break and he walked out.
Yeah.
But he went out and rang Ron and sort of, you go, right, okay, this is where we're at. Like, we've got this, but we're at this point. And Ron was like, he can deny from here all he wants because he now knows, like, if he does, we're basically heading towards, well, we'll have a trial here because we've got evidence and it, like, you know. So, and it sent him back in. They went back in and Adrian basically goes, oh, why'd you leave? Because don't you want to hear my story? And he was ready to spill.
Yeah. And
he did.
He absolutely did.
Well, to a degree, I think. I don't know. There was stuff he still never came out with. The one line, though, that was fucked that he said in that entire interview, and because as we alluded to at the beginning of this fucking idiot and our legal system was on parole at the time, he said, guess you shouldn't have let me out. Quote, how fucked that even this piece of shit knows how bad it is that our legal system would let him out on the streets.
He
It's
said
like this
something along the lines
cognition of him knowing about how bad he is and what he would do.
But then it also removes responsibility from him, which I can't stand.
Well, this
He's
is
like,
the
this
thing.
isn't my fault. You let me out.
Yeah,
Of course I was going to do
that
this.
is exactly. And like the way he even still, as he tells the story then of like his version of like the truth, still in ways makes out as if like this is Jill's fault, you know, or not, and not his fault kind of thing of like, you know, how it projects it all elsewhere. And again, uses language like it's, you know, it got really bad. You know, it's not I murdered her and I raped her. It's
He does say I raped her.
yeah,
3 times.
that one I think he was able to attach to, but actually murdering her, he never actually attached himself to that.
Yeah.
It was just it got bad and this you know, these things happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's absolutely horrific. Yeah, so we're at the point now where the police like, well, you know, obviously he's been arrested now for the rape and murder of Jill. And he basically insists that he will take the police out to find her body.
Because it's the right thing to do, he says.
Yep.
I'll do the
that.
right thing
I'll do
for
that.
you. And
Yep.
what a sack of
Yep. So at 10 p.m. that night, so this is on the Thursday night, the lead detective on the case is driving.
Yeah.
And they've got one of the other detectives, the one who actually conducted the interviews in the back seat with Adrian Bayley.
Yeah.
And they're driving to Gisborne and he didn't know exactly where it was. Well, no, according, you know, he was like, oh, no, turn here. Oh,
But
no, turn here.
Yeah, the cop sort of said like he was like, avoiding it. Like he just didn't, they sort of were like, I think it was dawning on him that if he directs them straight to her, then he's done here. Like, and so the minute that happens, it's like.
He's done.
Yeah.
But then he kind of directed them past a certain street a few times. And the detective who was driving was like, I just thought, fuck it, I'm going down that street. Like there's something obviously around here.
Yeah.
And then Adrian sort of went, oh yeah, no, this is it. It's just up here on the left. Now, her body was buried in a shallow grave over an embankment, and the police say that if Bayley hadn't led them there, they probably never would have found Jill.
I know. And the other thing was they never found really to this day is like any connection to this area to him. Like what made him go there, what made him know to do that, to go to that spot.
Yeah, they don't
There's
know.
a zero, like, you know, most people like go like, oh, like, you know, oh, I grew up out, you know, that way. Oh, I know of this spot that, you know, I can probably go to where I've like camped once, or, you know, like that's kind of, they end up, ends up being some sort of connection to the area.
Yeah.
Whereas with him in this position, there's absolutely nothing that would connect him to this and how he found this spot to leave her, which is really weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really interesting. But I mean, so they obviously set up a crime scene there and forensic officers are sent out. The 2 forensic officers that attended the site where Jill's body was found, they never went back to work after this. It was that's how bad it was. There was a detective on the homicide squad who ended up leaving the homicide squad after this case as well because it was just incredibly impactful. And I think we're going to come to this. I'm going to talk about this now, but the fact that Adrian Bayley had such a significant history,
yes,
I think that was a big proponent to why they just felt hopeless after this case. And I mean, the things that they would have had to have seen, I can't even imagine it.
I mean, and the police say this, you know, that they are fully aware that if they didn't get him on this, they would have had a serial killer on it. It's just, he would have continued. There's no question.
Yep.
Zero question.
Yep. So Adrian Ernest Bayley has a really long, fucking horrific history of violence against women. It spanned 20 years.
Yes.
So at first, in 1990, he was 9. Now, this is what we know of.
Or should we go back to who he was even prior to this? Like, could we go through childhood?
Yeah, go for it.
So basically, I mean, not trying to excuse his behaviour by saying this, but these people don't come out of nowhere. I mean, so Adrian Bayley did have a horrendous upbringing. He was physically abused by his father and sexually abused by a female, older friend of the family kind of person. Not that person that name's not been released, but was definitely sexually abused by her. He has been diagnosed with a borderline personality disorder and alcohol dependence, but probably a bit more to it than that, I'd reckon. But yeah.
There has to be.
Yeah. I mean, so his upbringing was pretty god awful. But what that has created then is someone who from a very young age, like 18, 19, he started these behaviour. Exactly. I mean, I'm sure that there was behaviour issues prior.
Whether
but
there
from
was perpetration of anything. I mean, maybe his juvenile record's not available to us. Like, we don't actually know.
That's true. That's very true. But yeah, from like 18, he actually raped like 3 teenage girls, so sort of from 16 years of age, so younger again than him. So
one was a family friend.
Yeah, another one was a hitchhiker that he picked up.
And someone who was just walking along the street, I think.
Yeah. So, I mean, pretty brazen, really.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he just kidnapped them off the street, basically.
And this is the thing, I mean,
family friend.
not saying that in any way, shape or form it's better or worse, but like, you know, to... I think rape someone that, you know, behind closed doors, that you can actually get into a position where in everyday life kind of stuff, where taking someone off the street and raping them, that's a whole other level of risk, etc. that person is taking in their perpetration, which it's an escalation of behaviour already that is really red flagging some serious shit here.
Yeah.
Which unfortunately doesn't really go to being, again, it's our fucking legal system. He did go to court over the 3 rapes, rapes and attempted rapes. I think he wasn't able to follow through entirely on one of them, I think.
Yeah.
So he did plead guilty. So there wasn't sort of a trial as such. He was meant to be jailed for 5 years with a minimum of 3 years, and he only ended up spending 22 months in jail.
And he fully admits that the reason he was bailed early was because he faked his way through the sex offenders court.
Yes. Isn't that atrocious?
It's atrocious.
I'm sorry, but what the fuck?
Yeah. So there's a bit of a stint now between when he got out, which was I think in 1993, early 93 he got out, and the year 2000 when the next known series of offences.
I'm sure there was offences in between, but this is the ones he was convicted or at least caught out or at least being able to be identified for. I'm sure there was potentially women who were reporting rapes but was never able to pin him for it necessarily.
Yeah, and I've seen interviews where there've been sex workers who had been raped who just never bothered reporting it to the police because they didn't think they'd be taken seriously.
Yep.
And for the nature of the fact that they were sex workers, which is not
just
okay.
Ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
It's so shit.
They felt like they couldn't really report it. And so, you know, there's quite possibly a lot that happened in that sort of 7-ish years.
Oh, I reckon there would have been. Yeah.
But in the year 2000, I mean, I feel like this hasn't come out of nowhere. So I feel like there would have been an escalation up until this point.
Yeah.
There was a wave of crimes against St Kilda sex workers. 6 prostitutes were raped that we know of. And Bayley was jailed for a minimum of 8 years for trapping 5 of those victims in his vehicle and raping them in his vehicle. How horrific.
So he was charged with
women.
Absolutely. He was charged with 16 counts of rape, I believe, and 5 imprisonments. Like, it's false imprisonment. Like, it's just, oh, God, just fucking awful. But again, he didn't spend his entire time in prison for it.
No.
He was on parole, and actually this is the one he was on parole for.
Yeah.
At the time, as well as another conviction. So he was. So that's right. Sorry, he was on parole for this.
Yep.
Committed another offence,
Rape.
which it wasn't another rape. Actually, he was actually convicted of a well, it says king hit in the stuff I've read, but coward punch.
Yeah.
And he broke the guy's nose.
Yes.
Or jaw. No, sorry, it was his jaw. Broke his jaw. And so he was actually meant to be. He was on parole for that. Whilst on parole for the convictions of the rapes.
So what they said is, like, why wasn't he put back in jail when he coward punched this bloke?
Yeah.
Who he was already on parole when he committed that next offence.
Should have been immediately back in prison.
Yeah, but he wasn't. So he was still let out.
Yeah.
Pending the charges, I think, for that.
Which as well, because he was convicted of the coward punch. And then he appealed the sentencing, not the conviction, just the sentencing. He said was too much.
It was excessive.
Excessive.
Yep.
So he should have been put in prison whilst awaiting his appeal, because at the end of the day he'd been convicted and was going to be getting this sentence. But instead of that, they let him out on bail.
Yep.
When he was already breaching his parole from the other situation.
Yep.
Like it's such a mind-blowing.
It's
what
actually
the hell?
unbelievable.
He should not have been on the streets, like doubly over.
Yep.
Yet he was on the streets at this time and was able to then do this to Jill Meagher.
And to 2 other victims.
Well, yes.
So in April of that year, in April of 2012, so a few months before the attack on Jill, he raped a sex worker in St Kilda. Then in July, so this is, a couple of months now before attacking Jill, he raped a Dutch backpacker.
Yep.
That is a horrible story. If you want to deep dive into that, you can find out a little bit more about that.
Yeah.
But her boyfriend, so she was living in Melbourne for study.
Yeah.
She'd been here about 12 months, and her boyfriend rang her one day just to sort of check in, and she'd literally just been raped by Bayley, and he said, he was living overseas at the time.
Yeah.
And he was like, I couldn't get to her. Like, oh.
My God. But it was actually him showing up in this Jill Meagher case that those 2 women saw him and went, that's the guy. So that's what I mean by I'm sure he's actually raped other women that couldn't identify him.
Absolutely.
Whereas these 2, again, they'd been raped, they didn't know who by, but seeing him on the screen of the TV and the news that it was very highly publicised, they went, oh my God, that's the guy. And they were able to go to the police and say, that's who it is. That's who did it. And so, I mean,
there was another identification of him that came through from his image being plastered all over the news as well, or all in the media. On the night that he dumped Jill's body, he actually ran out of petrol. And so the police suspect the reason he dumped the body exactly where it was because he actually ran out of fuel.
Yes.
He walked to the end of that street and was able to get a ride with somebody, a member of the public, an unsuspecting member of the public, who dropped him at the nearest... took him to the nearest petrol station and drove him back to where they'd picked him up from with a jerry can.
Yeah.
And this is all corroborated by CCTV.
Yeah.
And that poor man who picked him up saw his face on TV and went, oh my God.
That's the guy I picked up, helping out a guy and...
Yeah, doing the right thing, being a good citizen, good Samaritan.
Wouldn't oh God.
That'd be
die. I think that's...
You think the ripple effect of these crimes, it is absolutely untold. You think about that poor man and what he must think and feel. It's just... it's absolutely horrible.
Oh, I should say, also in terms of his convictions, there was actually even more again.
Yeah.
They were done in secret trials after his conviction of for the Jill Meagher case. And he was actually convicted of 3 additional rapes, indecent assault, and another false imprisonment that he committed against victims over years prior as well. So there was more added to his sentence based on those convictions as well. So and an increase to his non-parole period after it all. But so this is the thing. Jill was his victim in this, and she was murdered. But as the police could see, this was not going to be the end of him. This was stuff he was doing consistently. Yeah. Absolutely consistently. Yeah. He is to this day an absolute animal. And he should not be let out on the streets ever again.
He even says that he's like, the death penalty's for people like me anyway.
This is the thing that gets me with him. He fully, you're not getting that. But he knows himself to be so awful.
Quotes from when he actually admitted to this, in his sort of confession, his story of the confession was anyway. Yeah. He said, I strangled her. It really wasn't my intention to hurt her. All I thought was, oh, what have I done? Oh. Then he goes, then this is now about what he was thinking when he was burying her body. I cried, man. I dug a hole. I didn't cry for me.
Yes, you did.
I'm going to jail for a long time. I hope they bring back the death penalty before I get sentenced. I have no life left. Yeah, no, nor should you. You don't deserve the death penalty. You deserve to fucking rot in jail in a cell that has nothing. You don't get books. You don't get TV. You don't get anything. You get 3 meals a day and that's it.
That's it. That's interesting because what he's getting into his own lies here. Yeah. Because the fact of the matter is that the women that did come forward that he raped in 2012, both of them separately commented how in the process of being raped and things, he had said to them, I've just raped you. I could kill you and I'd never get done for it. So he
knew.
He was like, in his mind, he was like, I'll always get away with this. I can get away with anything. No one's going to catch me for this stuff. So to then say, like, you know, that he knew that he was going to go to prison for Jill, well, he'd talked himself into the fact that he could do it without getting in trouble.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. So yeah, fuck off. Don't even try it on.
No.
Yeah. So he was basically originally, what was he sentenced to originally? It was
30 years non-parole, life imprisonment, 30 years non-parole.
After the rape convictions of those two, so there were actually 3 women he raped, but one got dismissed on appeal, actually, which was awful in and of itself. They then upped his non-parole period to 40 years. So, which is great because and that started on the 28th of May in 2015.
Yeah.
So it'll be 2055 before he's even eligible for parole, and in which case he'll never get out.
He won't get parole. I mean, as much as he's got a non-parole period, there's no parole. I mean, God, you would surely.
Oh no, there's no way.
The public wouldn't allow it.
No.
Because I mean, we'll get to it in this. The public got behind this in a massive way.
Yep.
It was huge here in Melbourne. Right from the get-go, really. I mean, within the first, I think, 3 days maybe of her missing, Tom and ABC really got behind the fact that one of their own was missing.
Yeah.
And they set up a Facebook page, which, you know, it's relatively, I guess, early days in Facebook. It was a much bigger, you know, kind of audience.
Yep.
That the Facebook page looking for Jill, etc., became broadly, you know, set out into the public. And so then I think the day after they arrested Adrian Bayley was the huge march here in the city where thousands of people turned out on Sydney Road.
30,000 people.
Yeah.
30,000 people. You look at the photos and you just think.
It's huge.
When Tom talks about that, he didn't attend. It was a silent march. It was very respectful.
Yeah.
I think the public wanted to show their respect for Jill and what she'd been through.
But also the outrage of the parole system.
Absolutely. They wanted our system to know that this is not okay.
No.
And what happened to Jill was absolutely unacceptable and it cannot happen to another person again. So Tom has said, like, his sister was over here. So by this stage, a lot of family had come over to support them. Unfortunately, Jill's dad was still not well enough to travel from Perth. So Edith had to come over here with Michael. And Tom's sister came over from Ireland to support him. And Tom said that he and his sister were watching the footage of this march and it broke him. He said that outreach from the community was beyond anything he could ever imagine. He was he and his family and the McKeon family were so grateful for the general public and the outpouring of grief and sorrow and just the well wishes everyone had for them. They really felt supported by the community.
Yeah.
And I'm glad they felt that because that would have been a very, very small shining light in what I can't even imagine how they must have been getting through this. I honestly can't imagine it.
Unfortunately, it was Ron Eddles who kind of actually tipped the public into a negative light in this because he said something that I think speaking for him, but I dare say he regrets and it was the time, I guess it was the Times, but he came out and said, you know, that when she was missing that women should look out for themselves, try and protect themselves, don't walk in dark streets, all these sorts of things, which the public were like, no, this is not okay. That women shouldn't have to learn to protect themselves. Men should just not maybe rape and kill women.
Yeah. I think, I see what Ron's saying. He just had her best. He just wished that she'd gone home with someone else. That's all. So that this didn't happen to her or to anyone else.
But a woman should be able to walk home, and that was what this whole march really got around. The fact of, like, a woman was just walking home. A woman should be able to walk home. A woman should be able to go for a run. How many times do we hear these stories before we finally, as a society, go, this is enough?
But do you know, this kind of became the vernacular after this. Like, I know I've said to friends before, oh, no, I'm not going to let you walk to your car alone. You can't can't let you do a Jill
Yeah.
Meagher. I'll drive you to your car after
Yes.
we've been out for dinner or something if your car's down the road
Yeah.
or whatever. It really...
Just because it's, it's only 200 metres or it's only, 50 metres. No, you're
not taking a risk.
No.
I'm not taking that chance.
Yeah.
Not that Jill wouldn't have even thought she was taking a risk.
No.
She's just walking home. It's everyone should be able to walk home and be safe. It's a lot. And I think the fact that Jill's death was so preventable really enraged the public.
The legal system let her down massively.
Yeah.
And let down the entire community of Melbourne because that man should not have been on the streets. Those women shouldn't have been raped. Jill shouldn't have been raped, and she certainly shouldn't have been killed.
Nope.
And so the legal system has a lot to answer for in that.
Yeah.
And we have to do better in our parole and bail system. It's still not right here in Victoria. We still hear it all the time. Oh, this has happened, and they were out on bail.
Yeah,
it floors me.
It floors me too, and
we need to get to a point where as we were saying with him that there was two bits of stop points here where he should have been back in prison. It's got to be one strike, you're out. Like in a parole system. I also believe anyone who's on an order, protection order should absolutely, it should be one breach, you're out. And you should be doing jail time. It's not. I mean, at the moment, particularly those protective orders. Oh, the amount of breaches that have to happen before someone is actually put behind bars for it.
So what's the point in having it?
Exactly.
It's not protecting anyone except maybe the perpetrator.
The perpetrator knows that that's the case too. They absolutely know that they can push the absolute limits of those protective orders.
Yeah.
So it's not protecting anyone.
Yeah. The public outcry against the parole board was quite rightly savage.
Yeah, absolutely.
But this case did lead to a bit of an overhaul in some ways. It's still not there. It's still not good enough because there are still people who are perpetrating offences while they're out on bail all the time. We hear about it far, 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 far too often. And it's just something that we shouldn't be standing for as a society.
Yeah.
They implemented a 2 strikes policy for offenders. That was what kind of came for it. Why 2 strikes? Okay, you can go and rape someone, but the second time you rape someone while you're on parole, that'll get you back in prison.
Sorry, no. Okay, maybe if you're out on parole and you get a speeding ticket, I'll give you one more. But no.
You know what else happened? There was a rewrite to the parole, their charter or their code of, I don't know, whatever.
Right.
That basically meant that when they're making decisions, they had to make sure that safety is the absolute non-negotiable number 1 priority. Isn't that always been the role of the parole board?
I thought it was. No, if that's not the case, then what are we doing? Yeah, well, as I say, there is no way a parole board could have this guy come up for parole. I mean, Adrian Bayley shouldn't even bother applying for parole.
Exactly.
I mean, I have
that'll
100%.
be a waste of our taxpayer money.
Absolutely. There's no way. I mean, after what's gone on with him, he knows it. I really believe he does know it, that he's rotting in jail, and as he should.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, he knows he would rape and kill again. He knows it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, he said as such, basically.
Yeah.
Now, Tom today.
Yeah.
In the aftermath of losing Jill and going through all of the things that he went
My heart
through.
breaks for him entirely.
He's
man.
such an amazing man. He moved back to Dublin.
Yeah.
He became a campaigner for White Ribbon in Ireland. So they educate men and boys to prevent violence against women. He does come back to Melbourne from time to time for different events that sort of pertain particularly to Jill's case and the legacy that, he wanted something positive to come out of something that was just so horrific.
Yeah.
And a lot of what he's done, is leading to advocacy about parole reform. And one of the things that he feels very strongly about is what he calls men's violence against women. So not just violence against women. He feels like it's really important to put the onus on the men in these situations. Now, we are by no means saying all men, I hope people don't take it that way because it's not what we're saying. But in these circumstances, men's violence against women is perpetrated by men.
Yep. And at the end of the day, if you're handed a bag of jelly beans and told one of them tastes like a piece of shit, I'm sorry, but you've got to treat all of them as if they're a piece of shit, because you can't dip your toe in there and try.
And, you know, by and large, men in society are generally good people, you know, and I get that.
Yep.
And it is...
Unfortunately, though, the statistics
women, we need to be so careful. And if you don't know a man, like, you almost do have to... It's like at work, you know, I work in the medical field. We take universal precautions on any bodily fluid that we touch.
Yep.
Thinking that it may have something in it that will infect us. 99.999% of the samples we touch probably don't have anything that will infect us.
Unfortunately, the statistics of men being violent are far greater than that.
Yeah. And that's the thing. We need to, it's sad that this is the state of affairs, but it absolutely is. Now, I'm going to put a link in the show notes to this essay that Tom has written, which this is one of the times I cried when researching this.
I couldn't actually bring myself to read it, so
yeah.
Here we go.
There's just, sorry.
Oh, good.
It needs to be read in full.
Yeah.
It really does, to get the full context around everything. But I'm just going to read a couple of parts of it that really stood out to me. One of the most disturbing moments of the past 18 months of my life was hearing my wife's killer form a coherent sentence in court. Jill had been murdered almost 6 months earlier, and Adrian Bayley's defence team were presenting a rather feeble case for a 4-week adjournment of his committal hearing. Bayley appeared via video link as I sat flanked by 2 friends and a detective. The screen was to my right, mounted up high and tilted slightly towards the bench. It was uncomfortably silent apart from the occasional paper shuffle or short flurry of keyboard clicks. I anticipated and prepared for the most difficult moment of the day when Bailey's face appeared on the big screen TV, looming over the seat I then occupied. When that moment arrived, a jolt of nausea came and went, but the worst was to come, made all the more horrifying because it was unexpected. The judge asked Bayley whether he could see the courtroom. I don't remember his exact words, but he replied that he was able to see his lawyer and half of the bench. I'd come face to face with him in court before, but vocally, I never heard him manage more than a monosyllabic mumble into his chest. This was different. There was a clarity of communication, sentence structure, and proper articulation. It was chilling. I formed an image of this man that was not human, that he existed as a singular force of pure evil who somehow emerged from the ether. He then also quotes Canadian feminist and anti-violence educator Lee Lakeman, and in this essay he writes, "Violent men and men in authority over violent men and the broader public that authorises those men are not yet shamed by the harm of coercive control over women.
No.
Maybe we can rest some hope on the growing activity of men of goodwill calling on each other to change. When that group hits a critical mass, the majority of men will be more likely to want to change." And this is what this is the work that he's really focusing on with the White Ribbon Foundation. Yeah. And that is, and we've seen ads, there's ads on TV in Australia about this too. And it's about calling your mates out if you see something that's not okay, or if they're being a little bit controlling of their partner.
The locker room talk that needs to stop.
Yeah, that's right. That needs to just not be about degrading
because
women.
that person who's just joking
is
quite likely thinking, or at least if it's not that person, it's someone else going, oh, well, it sounds like they think it's okay.
Yeah.
And then they go home and think that that's okay.
Yeah. So it's about reframing conversations that men are having when they're in groups together, and really calling out this behaviour early on.
Yeah.
Right from the get-go.
Yeah, this is it. And because as he's rightly pointing out there, these are everyday men that you look at Bayley and go, it looks like a bit of a gym junkie kind of douche, but you could walk down the street and just kind of go, that's just a bloke.
Well, yeah,
he doesn't.
He is just a bloke.
In some parts of even like in this, I remember this happening at the time, that's the thing. But even seeing the images of him coming back to this and looking at it really closely with, researching this week, I remember looking at a picture of him just kind of going, yeah, it's just not what I expected to see. I thought you sort of in some way think you're going to see some sort of weirdo, some way that they would stand out, but he wouldn't stand out.
No.
And that's scary.
It's terrifying.
Yeah.
It's terrifying. Yeah. And he's hidden behind that facade, hasn't he? And that's how Yeah, he's gotten to be where he is. Tom ends his essay by saying, Adrian Bayley murdered a daughter, a sister, a great friend to so many, and my favourite person. I'm the first one who wants to see him vilified, and long may he be one of Australia's most hated people.
Yep.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
We are with you on that, Tom.
We are with you on that.
Oh, gross. He's so articulate in his
He's
essay.
incredibly articulate.
And if only we can, I mean, we're raising boys. We are hopeful that we are raising that generation that this changes in.
Yes.
We've got to get there. And the only way we get there is by
talking about it,
but also those men that are older changing their attitudes to help teach these boys, because they have to see it to learn it.
Yep.
And if they're seeing those behaviours and overhearing those behaviours by men that they, look up to, then our job is so much harder to get that next generation over the line.
Yeah, look, I think Ron actually talks about this too. I think because there's a lot more awareness in society. I know it still happens at an epidemic rate. Like it's horrific the amount of domestic violence there is, but things are shifting in terms of there's been some changes in legislature. There's been changes in how these things are being dealt with. Are we there yet? Absolutely not. Will we get there? We can hope. But I think knowledge is power in situations like this, and the more we know and the more we can discuss it, the more we can teach that next generation. A
page worth following on Instagram is Cheryl Moody, Femicide Watch.
Yeah.
She does an amazing job of calling these men out and their behaviours, and it's heartbreaking because what she does is highlight it, that it's happening. I mean, as someone who we have a Facebook Instagram pages and social media, and we put female faces and voices out there, that when females do that, these men appear in the chat and put some god awful comments, and they think that it's kind of buried and hidden in those places, but they still get to do it. Not when Cheryl's around. She goes and finds these comments and blasts them. Puts them out on a very public page and a very well followed page to highlight how fucking disgusting these comments are, and how they need to just be stopped. And while you think that you can sit behind a keyboard and say them, it doesn't make it right. You don't sit in a locker room and do it. You don't do it anywhere public. You certainly don't do it on social media either. So she's amazing and doing great work and trying to highlight these things too. So we just need to, I think that's the best way to do it, is like call it out everywhere that we see it. But it's got to be called out not just by the Cheryl Moody's and the females in this. It's got to be called out by other men. And that's where I think we say, it's not all men, but it's always seems to be men, that we need all men to call it out. It needs to be every we need to have allies in this to make sure it stops.
Yeah, and I'm sure we do. I mean, you look at Tom and his advocacy, like he is, he's a man and he's doing all the right things in this. And most men, I would imagine, would. It's like, I just sort of think like, I think I'm really thinking about the ad that has been on TV in Australia where the blokes are all at the pub and someone says something. It's like, that's hard. But sometimes things are hard and you still need to go down that path and call it out.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's a lack of understanding of how much those jokes are not jokes and how they impact. And to think that, that you can get away with, saying those things still and think that, that's really funny. It's just not. There's too many people dying.
Yeah. It's horrific. Yeah. It was a big one.
It is. But yes, we will end it there.
I think we will. So next week,
yes,
let's change the tune just a little bit. Next week we come back and we will be discussing the Wanda Beach murders.
Yes,
that one's been on our list for a long time.
Let's get to that one. Hit that subscribe or follow button in whatever app you're listening so that you will come back next week to do that. More of you are doing it, I noticed. So thank you. Keep it up, because I think there's a lot of people out there who are listening to us every week but aren't hitting that button. So
I think it's like almost 2/3 of people who listen to us are not not hit that follow button.
Yeah.
So, honestly, it really helps us. That's all you have to do.
Yeah.
Just hit that follow button. It really, really helps.
Yeah, because it's really like, it's interesting watching like sort of, I've put them on the socials a bit lately of like how we're hitting the charts.
Yeah.
And that's why.
That's why.
And it grows us hugely in that way. So if you're hitting that button, it's just a massive help. So thank you.
Look at us hitting the charts. Oh my God.
Oh my God. It's been amazing.
Thanks for your support, everyone.
Absolutely. Stay curious, crime besties.
Bye.